Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Do you remember that concept, no taxation without representation? Yeah, I do remember it. And that means I would like to be represented, so be able to vote if I'm taxed. Well, right now you're not taxed, but you're represented. And now is no taxation with representation in United States, and also representation with no intelligence. So that is, you can be dumb as a rock, someone will represent you, even if, regardless if you know what you voted for or who you voted for or not. You have the right to go and vote and be represented. This is the mass democracy, a part of it. I have many more examples about mass democracy in the United States, at least. I think mass democracy could be skewed, perfected here and there in order to become more valuable and of quality than what we have here. Any biped that is able to shuffle to the voting booth and cast a ballot could nullify someone's vote, someone like you, for instance, who knows about the system and geopolitics and other stuff, and a guy who just votes for his free marijuana or free whatever prescription drugs subsidized by your taxes is gonna nullify your vote. Well, I don't think that's really fair. If you want to look at it, just look at Socrates and see how fond was he of mass democracy. And you can find that in Plato's Republic, what Socrates thinks about mass democracy. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm going to talk about lazy, not Truss, Liz Cheney. So Liz Cheney, she's a Republican, and she is the daughter of Dick Cheney, and Dick Cheney was part of that leadership that started some illegal wars. Therefore, he could be definitely matching, or how should I be, meeting the criteria for a certain kind of word, or maybe two. One is war, and the other one is, So Liz Cheney, she is a Republican, and she is as good as her father, which means no good. So what she did after she shit on Republicans' heads with all the commission that she is in and whatever she did, hating Trump because of her father's failures and dissatisfactions and frustrations, she's running for re-election in her state and in Wyoming in the primaries. That means in the primaries you let's say you're a Republican, only the Republican voters will cast the ballot, and they will vote for whomever will represent them against the Democrat or whomever is going to be there, Democrat. So what Liz Cheney does, she says in this article, which was expected, she's about to lose. She pissed off too many Republicans, and maybe Trumpers is better put than Republicans, because Republicans, a lot of Trumpers are not, no, a lot of Republicans are Trumpers, but a lot of Trumpers are not Republicans, if you know what I mean. Because if you vote for the Republican Party, you take Mitch McConnell with you, you get Lindsey Lohan, what's his name, right? You take other senators that are not what you want. It's just part of the Republican Party, which is it's a wing of the Democratic Party. As I said, there's two identical twins with the same parents. It's just that one wears a mustache and the other one doesn't. There's a difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, and the parents are the donors. That's what it is. So Liz Cheney calls on Democratic voters to switch parties, give her boost in GOP primary. Do you understand what it is? Yes, you do. This is from Fox News from today, August 16th. So Wyoming voters will go to the polls Tuesday to vote in the state's primary elections, and Republican Congresswoman, Republican Liz Cheney, is looking to an unusual source for support in her GOP race, Democrats. While only members of a given party are allowed to vote in the party's primary in Wyoming, the state does not allow for the same-day vote registration. Does allow for same-day voter registration. That means the people can switch parties the same day they vote. So those who had been Democrats can become Republican just to vote for Cheney in the primary, where her main challenge is Harriet Hageman. So you understand what it is? So she wants to be in power. So she doesn't represent the people. She represents her power, her own name. That's what she does. And she says, because she wants to be a candidate in the Republican Party, but the Republicans don't want her. Democrats want her. Why don't you go to the Democrats? Because they have no backbone. Because they don't have no ideology in a way of, I have my values here and I'm conducting myself based on my values. They don't do that. They want the power, regardless how. Give me a knife, I will get the power. That's how they see their political life. Doesn't matter how. If they do it from behind, that's fine. If they do it from the front, that's fine. They don't care. They don't care. That's the example. So she is gonna ask for the Democrats to switch. If they just switch to Republicans for one day, vote for her, and she gets to be, represent the Republicans. Now, I don't have to go deeper in this to explain why this is, why this is bad. But I will paraphrase a guy, a statesman from previous century. I think he lived in like the 30s, 20s, 30s, mid 40s, 1940s, 30s. And he said something. He was not a very, very fond of democracy and of parliamentary democracy, because he said that you hide, as a parliament, you hide behind numbers. So if you make a decision and let's say the country gets screwed up, messes up, what can happen to you is just that you lose your seat, maybe in the parliament, that's all. Not even that, but you will always hide your responsibility behind a number. Like, hey, we were a majority, we were, 400 people we voted for, and there were 3 opposing, so what do you want? You know what I mean? So we absolved of any responsibility. Whereas one leader, in this guy's vision, and one, or ideology, or whatever, one leader, that when he says something, he messes up, he's the one. You can't hide. He can't hide, oh, actually it was someone else who made the decision. It's you. So you bear the responsibility, so you have to be more cautious when you vote, and you, in this case, as a leader, you don't vote, you just say what's going on. So, and he said he was against coalition governments for the same reason as her. She said, how can you have, for instance, he gave different example, but I'll give you an example, so exaggerated so you understand clearly. You have an example between the communists and the, far capitalists. How can you have a coalition between this? Yeah, they can have the power, 2 parties of this, because they're gonna, just to have the power, like Cheney. She doesn't care if she gets voted by Democrats and Republicans. She doesn't believe in either. She believes only in her family. That's it. So the same here. If you have a coalition government with, let's say, far right and far left, they get a power, all right, by the number of, the people in the parliament. They will get the majority. But then how are they going to govern? In the institutions. Because ones have a certain ideology to the left, the other ones have it to the right. How are they going to, let's say education? How is the education going to be? How are there going to be some social issues solved in a communist way or in a wild capitalist way? Let's put it this way. How are you going to figure it out? That's why he said you can't have these things in the same, and you have to be one, and that has to be exactly left or right. You can't, dilute yourself. Well, she just dilutes herself. And question: how come she, the daughter of Dick Cheney, got to be a senator? Is that nepotism? or that's just personal value? Well, if it's personal value, then you support eugenics, or you support genetics, and you support epigenetics, and then you get to the IQ. And when you get to the IQ, then you go to this and you go to that, and then it's gonna get straight to now the Second World War, and about camps, and about, you know, all these things. When you go with that, you're gonna have Nietzsche, you're gonna have as I said, eugenics, you're gonna have Richard Wagner, you're gonna have Adolf, obviously, you're gonna have all these guys. So be careful what you say. That means it has to be nepotism. What else? Just value, and she's got one of the 100 in the country. 100 senators are in the United States. That's it. And she's one of them. Somehow she's just a daughter by a coincidence, right? No, that was, he did this, he did that, he did that. That's how democracy works in this pure country. That is corrupt like others. Well, you find out when you come here, and you start seeing things and say, how come? Look at the family, the Bush family. Really? Is epigenetics working? Oh, I'm glad. I know they do. I know epigenetics is a reality. But you can't really say it, because if you say it, then you should have a group that would be the hardest worker group in the world based on epigenetics, right? And it's some people say otherwise. So I don't know. And anyway, just I think she's a piece of garbage. This woman who just thinks only about her own power, and like everybody else. But at least she just shows it like in Romania. When a cop would stop you, or there was a fight between politicians, they would say in front of the cameras, what do you want? I know that guy is gonna get you in trouble, that's my uncle, oh no, that's this is my godfather. That's in front of the cameras, telling you that what are we gonna do? We're corrupt and nobody can touch us. There you have it. Yeah, I don't care, I just want to be elected. About who am I going to represent? I don't care, I just want a title. This is that piece of, you can say, well, everybody does that. Well, she's, how should I put it, which I admire. I admire when people just say, you know what, I'm an asshole, and I'm going to act like an asshole. I don't like people who say, or countries, they say, well, I'm the perfect country, the perfect person, and my behavior shows otherwise. I don't like that kind of behavior. It's like a weasel. But this one, I'm an asshole, I'm going to behave like one. All right, man, congratulations, you're like half, but the other one is all the way. I mean, this is all the way. I'm an asshole, behave like an asshole. Instead of I'm an asshole, I say no, I'm an angel actually. I don't like those ones. Smack. All right, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. Liz Cheney.